Welcome to a special edition of Anglican Unscripted, 9/11. We're going to talk about the effects of 9/11 and the world of Islam today. I'm Kevin Carlson.
And I'm Father Argo. And today is September 11th, 2014.
Welcome to another edition of Anglican Unscripted, and we're having a special segment where we're going to talk to Father Argo again. It's amazing. It's September 11th, 2014, 13 years after the attacks on New York City and the Pentagon and what happened in Pennsylvania. And we get to talk now about all that has happened. We're going to talk about his recent trip to Kurdistan. We're going to talk about ISIL. We're going to talk about what we have created in the Middle East and ultimately what we can do about it. First of all, we watched our president last night speak about ISIL as not being Islamic, and I think that's one of the things we need to take care of right now. Is ISIL Islamic?
Of course it's Islamic.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they do. We can move right on. I mean, they this is they're walking out their reading of the Quran and the Hadith,
mm-hmm.
and the Caliph of ISIS, the Arabic, by the way, they refer to ISIS in the region as Daesh. Americans can spell it D-A-A-S-H, Daesh.
Mm-hmm.
Daesh is clearly an Islamic movement. Again, their leader has a PhD in Islamic studies. They're just walking out what they are reading and what they believe. There's no question about it.
Well, there is with the leadership here in America, but it's 9/11, as I mentioned before. This is not completely Obama's fault. What's going on today is a result of American policies over the last many years, and part of that was a reaction to what happened on 9/11. And we went into Iraq and Afghanistan trying to weed out Al-Qaeda and look for Osama bin Laden. That took away a power vacuum, or added a power vacuum. We took out Saddam Hussein. We removed the leadership that was existing in Afghanistan. And for some reason, the people in that region don't operate under democracy as we understand it.
Yeah, and the reality is, if we take out Daesh, ISIS, something else will pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, absolutely. This is it's just going to keep going this way. As we go around the U.S., what we've been trying to tell people for years, and what the missionary community in the Middle East has said is that for years is that Iraq will just be something worse than what it was under Saddam, and Afghanistan will go straight back to the Taliban. And what we said 5 years ago is just coming to pass right now. Part of the problem Westerners have is just we don't understand how Islam thinks. We don't understand their worldview. The big misconception, Islam is not a religion. Religion is a part of Islam, but we don't have anything like it. They use the word tawhid in Arabic, a unity. Everything is Islam. Everything. So it's your culture, it's your politics, it's your music. They have rules and prayers for using the toilet. Everything comes under Islam. So ultimately, there's no diplomatic solution to Islam. We're playing football, they're playing basketball. Mm-hmm. They're playing a totally different game, and they're incongruent with each other. So within Islam, freedom and democracy are negatives. Those are not values within Islam. So we come in and we try to offer them Western values, and they're just absolutely, not only are they not interested, they just can't even get their heads around them. It's like saying circle square. That's one of the things we saw in England recently. England's collapsing. Mm-hmm. They're in real trouble, and I think part of the problem is sort of their English pride that, we taught the world these values, this Western liberal secular democracy, and it's so wonderful that everyone should want it once we just offer it to them. And they're sticking to it. And what they don't get is they have millions of Muslims now living in England who are absolutely opposed to those things. and for all their enlightenment and wonderfulness that the English are trying to offer them, they're just not interested, and they're not going to play. And so there's no diplomatic resolution possible. Ultimately, there's no military solution. I mean, ultimately. We're talking 1.6 billion people. What are you going to do? Blow up Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim country? That's not ultimately a solution. The only answer is the gospel.
Right.
And American Christians should know that, and we need to wake up to that.
Now, you and your family just took a recent trip to Kazakhstan, and you were on the front lines handing out aid. Tell me a little bit about that operation.
Kurdistan, actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. My daughter thought we were there too, and that's fine.
I haven't finished the coffee yet.
Okay. My daughter asked if we have a worker friend there, and asked if we saw him. So
okay.
No, wrong case, Dan. We went into Kurdistan. We flew into Erbil. We came in from Central Asia, and we, on the front line, we connected before we got there with some local pastors. Really important, if you're coming into a place like that, you need to connect to the boots on the ground, not just show up, vet them best as you can. So we did that, and we found a wonderful group of local evangelical pastors trying to bring relief to the pockets there, the places in northern Iraq, Kurdistan, that where no aid was getting into, and that's what we did. I think the biggest sort of surprise, what we didn't expect, was the Christians there are not in camps. There are not camps. The camps there are for Syrians. That's a whole different issue. The Christians have fled to villages and cities. So we were in Dohuk, which is up just to the north of Mosul. I think Americans know that name now. We were about 6 miles from the Mosul Dam, and talked to some of the paramilitary there who were involved in the liberation of that area and still watching it very closely. And so what's happened is that the Christians have gone to places like Dohuk. There's a total of maybe 750,000 refugees there. The Christians are living with family, friends, or fellow ethnic groups, and so they're hard to find in a way. They're just scattered everywhere, and you have to kind of go looking for them. And we went to 3 villages where the pastors knew where the Christian refugees had gone.
Now, America's not doing enough. America thinks the solution is military, to use our Air Force and bomb back to the Stone Age. That's America, and that's our leadership. What can Christians do to help our brothers and sisters over there?
Well, we're using the Wilberforce model, and it's pray, give, advocate. Number one, they were really touched that we just came. I mean, they kept telling us over and over that the fact that we came, the fact that Christians in America had not forgotten them, that we were standing with them, that we were having prayer service for them, really touched them. One thing I would ask is if you could, if your church or community is doing a prayer service for them, please send us a picture. We're going to carry those over to them. So prayer is huge right now. Give. They need money. That's what they need right now. They're hungry. They need food. $50 will feed a family for a month. They need kerosene cookers. It's about to get very cold over there in the next month. They need heaters and cookers. Those are $50. We were able to provide cookers, heaters for every Christian family in the big village that we went to. They need housing. $3,000 will build a small house for a relocated Christian family. So there's a lot we can do there. And then advocate, speak up. I mean, get your church involved, get your home group involved, rattle your pastor, rattle your community, your home group, your friends, get the word out. So it's pray, give, advocate. It was the Wilberforce model. We won the day before. We can do it again.
Well, let's talk about the advocation part. We need to be careful what we advocate for. There is an interesting dynamic between the Shias and Sunnis here and who they will fight for. And I wonder if you could speak to that. If the wrong people are weaponized, we end up with a far worse situation.
Yeah, and we don't learn from our mistakes as Americans. I mean, the Taliban are using our weapons, and we trained them. I mean, let's learn from our mistakes. We have trained and armed the ISIS soldiers, Daesh. We trained them. They're our guys from the Iraqi army that turned on us. So the same thing is going to happen in Syria. It happens over. That's what our European friends always tell us. You know, you Americans are great, but you never learn from your mistakes. And we're making the same mistake again. I mean, it was these Syrian rebels who sold the reporter Sotloff to Daesh, to ISIS. So we're doing it again. There was 240,000 AKs gone missing from Afghanistan. Where do you think they are right now? So one thing that is interesting to learn, for example, in the city of Mosul, which is kind of a mixed city, but it's very Araby still up north. But we were told that if the Iraqi army, which are Shia, the regulars, come in there, that the Arab Sunni population will fight with ISIS against them. Because they will choose ISIS over the Shia. And we have to understand these tribal divides and these sectarian divides within Islam, and we just don't do our homework, and we just don't want to understand. We're at the point of willful ignorance because we keep doing it over and over again.
Mosul is a city of about a couple million people, and to have them fight against America is unfathomable to us, but they don't see those in those political terms. They see those in Sunni Shia terms.
Absolutely, absolutely. But they would, Mosul could be and needs to be liberated right now, but it's not going to happen by the Iraqi army. They simply, that won't happen. The Peshmerga can't either, and that's something really important to know, is that the Peshmerga can hold ground. They can fight in the mountains. They can do some things, but they really can't get out there on the flatland. It's not what they're geared up to do. And so if we're going to liberate a place like Mosul, it's going to take boots on the ground. Absolutely.
All right. So we talked about the Wilberforce model. Are you planning on going back over there soon?
Yes. Our hearts are breaking. We want to be there. We didn't want to leave. We are itching to get back. We just fell in love with the people. And again, they were so grateful that we came. One of the mayors, or a Christian mayor of one of these villages, just came shouting out. He says, "I told my people the Americans would come. I told them they would come." And it said, "It might be late in the game, but I knew you would come right near the end." And he said, "This is such a blessing, a big blessing for my little people." And our plans are to, now that we have connected to a nonprofit over there run by local pastors, they passed the smell check. We watched them in action. We saw them work with the people, made connections with them. So we're going to go back hopefully and spend all of November on the ground with them. Part of a challenge is you don't want to be a burden to them. What they call it, the second catastrophe over there, which was people coming in. First catastrophe was Daesh, ISIS, and the second catastrophe was good-meaning people running in who kind of swamped them. So we want to be very careful and sensitive to that. So if we go back in, we don't want to be a burden. We want to be a help, and we're lining up things to make sure that we can assist. And it's really important from our Katrina experience too, is to help them help themselves, create a model that works. And work with them to help each other. The Christians are doing a great job over there. They're helping the Muslims. They're helping the Yazidi. And so it's finding people who are doing good work and helping them do more of it. Also really important, this is my own commitment, but help the local church, because it will give the local church long-term legs. It will help them do their ministry. They're seeing it right now. They're talking about the blessing of this. They're saying that Muslims are really open to the gospel right now. Yazidi are really open to the gospel right now. Jesus is appearing in dreams and visions all over the place right now. They're sharing the gospel. Muslims are coming to faith. They see this as they're looking for what God is doing in this. And they're saying that in this dispersion and catastrophe, God is bringing the Muslims to himself right now. And so it's kind of an exciting time to be there.
It is. And it's amazing because we always look at the short-term catastrophe and we never see long-term with God's eyes. And it would be, not beyond God to make this one of the greatest evangelical tools for the Muslims in history. That's the way God works.
Yeah, and I mean, 9/11, go back to 9/11 where we started. This was the hinge of history. This is when 9/11 is when we saw the Islamic world open to the gospel.
Yeah.
So what the enemy intended for evil, God is using for good, working for good. He did that with 9/11, and He's absolutely doing it in this circumstance. We rode in the car with a Muslim background believer like 2 months ago. She was a Muslim. She had terminal cancer. Jesus came to her in a vision, touched her, and completely healed her. And she happened to have a Christian doctor who sort of explained what this was all about. And we have audio of her singing praise songs to Jesus now in the back of the car driving down the road, and she is reaching other Muslims and praying for healing in the hospitals, and it's just amazing.
All right, I want to include in the show notes, which gets sent out with the email that everybody watches. How can people contact you and give you financial resources to help and be part of a prayer team for you?
That'd be fantastic. Our website is www.lovefortheleast.org. Lovefortheleast.org. You can contact me there. You can send your pictures to me through there of your prayer services. We want to carry these back to the people. There's PayPal. You can do financial support. If you need ideas, pictures, stories, just be in contact. We promised the Christians there, the refugees, we would speak for them. We would be their voice. And we asked them, what would you tell? What do you want the American people to hear? What do you want the American people to know? And they just said, it's by God's grace you're here, and we're so encouraged that you have not forgotten us, and we were expecting you. So that's a wonderful thing.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again for your time. And Anglican TV special has had a special friendship with you since 2006 or 7.
Yeah.
With a certain storm in a certain location. Thank you again for your faithfulness and your time.
Bless you. Thank you.